That's right. I absolutely agree. You know, something that the Quran says, the Quran talks about heaven and hell, you know, not being places, but being actually states of mind. So, what we learn in the Moorish Science Temple of America is those particular lessons and exercises that allows for us to master our minds. So, in mastering our minds, we know that we actually create, you know, our living conditions or our living mind space. You know, my brother Shay Rael used to always talking about, you know, having the chaotic mind space versus the peaceful mind space and the ability to create this space for yourself. And as a Moorish American, somebody who knows themselves, they know that this ability, that this capacity actually exists within them. Islam, Islam, Islam. I give praise to Allah, honor to His holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali. I give honor to the forerunner of the prophet, Noble Jew Ali, the brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey. I give honor to all the past and the present true leaders to this Moorish Science Temple of America and their officers and their stations. I give a special honor to my sister, beloved LaTay J Bey. And I give a special honor to all the Moorish Americans and the Muslims celebrating this Holy Friday all over the world. Islam, Islam. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Well, first, I like to first rise and give honors, the highest praise and honors to our Father God Allah. I want to also give honors to all the divine prophets for all the wonderful works that they have brought unto us. Islam.
Islam. So, again, like I told you before we went live, you know, honest to you for what you do. You know, I recognize it, I see it, and like I said, the thing that I really love is when I see LaTay J Bey on Facebook, on TikTok, you know, she's teaching more science. She's teaching and restricting to those lessons that the Prophet Noble Jew Ali had appointed and anointed missionaries to confer us with, and I give honors for that. I believe that it's an injury to the Asiatic nations for Moorish Americans to be teaching anything other than that right now. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, our people, you know, don't need many things and many lessons. I just feel like we need to establish the foundation first and foremost. Islam. So tell me about Holy Day. How was Holy Day today?
Holy Day was amazing, Brother John. So I've been in a few temples. My first temple I started with was the Holy Temple of Science, the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, with Brother John Keenan Bey. So that was my first teacher. I've been to a few places, and I had to go back to my teacher because I needed those holy teachings. You know, so many times we get away from the Circle 7 and we just want to go into what fits. But I know for sure that Brother John, he's been in the movement. His teacher was taught by Prophet, the founder, and the reincarnated. So this energy that he carries is so amazing. And he's such a noble man, elder. He's 80 years old. He's amazing. He'll have Holy Day by himself. He does conference call. This is how old school he is. Conference call is the thing. He's not coming out here, you know. So it's beautiful because no matter what, if you don't show up on the phone, he's still going to be there. If he's by himself, he's still going to demonstrate. So what I love so much about him is his commitment and the consistency over 50 years of doing this.
Islam.
That's
contagious.
Man, it is. It is. And the way he unfolds these lessons, I don't. He can do the same chapter every time. I'm gonna get something different because it's unfolding. He's like, because it's still unfolding to him.
That's right. That's right. You know, when I first came to the Moorish Science Temple of America, I joined the Moorish Science Temple of America in prison, and the beautiful thing about that, because it's something beautiful about it. There are no different grand bodies. There's no, you know, who is your leader. We don't have that, you know. So, and I spent, you know, over a decade before I even ever found out that type of thing existed. So I learned from so many beautiful brothers from all over the freaking country, you know, We just coming together and sitting inside of the logo circle and building on the possibilities of man, opening up the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and what we used to call consulting the prophet. You know, the prophet say, my sheep know the sound of my voice, a stranger will not follow. So we would just study and read everything that the prophet wrote over and over and over again. And like you said, it unfolds by degrees. You know, I mean, like I'm opening my Quran today, you know, and I'm seeing things, and I'm like, I've read every sentence in this Quran at least 1,000 times, you know, and how could it still be just constantly unfolding? Because it's the everlasting gospel.
Islam.
Islam. Yes. You know, so
I love that. You know, I would like to say this. I had a son that one of my sons went to prison at 17. And my thing for him was always to get some Moors around him. I was like, at first I was like, the Nation of Islam, I don't care, just get my son around some brothers.
That's right.
And eventually, during his last year in there, because he did 5, he ended up in the hole. And in the hole next to him was a brother that studied Moorish Science. Do you know they studied from the walls with each other? And my son he was like, Mom, oh, this now I know what you're talking about. So he comes out, he's like, I'm a bae. I'm like just going. And I'm just like, wow. I was like, look at Allah. I said, he placed him somewhere where he had to be in a dismal crypt, but he had to grab my son's attention, because if he would have been out in population, he would have never had his attention.
That's right. You know what the Quran says? It says that man is sure to find himself where he solves his problems best.
Best. Islam. Come on now. Islam. You're right.
You know how many times where we find ourselves solving our problems best, we really don't want to be there.
There. Ooh, say that. Because you say that again.
Islam. So advice to myself. What I started to do, because I spent years like that, like going through what your son went through, those beautiful moments, where you locked in a cell, which would otherwise you would consider it hell. But you're growing, and you're growing, you feel yourself growing. It's like I'm being stretched, I'm getting taller, I'm getting bigger, I'm getting stronger spiritually, and it might be a man down the hall or across the hall from you, and something would always happen. It'll be points where the whole range would get quiet. And now we're all unfolding. We having a conversation talking about, the higher spiritual truths in the inner life. And, the most carnal individuals who are normally, that's all they could think of is how to be deceitful, evil, and how to, demonstrate their craft. So we are sure to find ourselves where we solve our problems best. So whenever I get in a situation that I don't like, whenever I find myself somewhere where I don't want to be, the first thing I do is I pause, I be still, and I say, what am I here to pick up, or what am I here to put down? I know it's the reason why I'm here.
Islam. You just gave me, like, look how you just taught me something. You just taught me something I'm about to carry with me. Islam. Thank you. Islam for that.
All praises due to Allah. So you said that the Islam, Sister Veronica Ali Hill, peace and love to you. You said that the topic today was master and the servant.
Master and servant.
Hey, those high degrees right there.
Islam.
Those high degrees right there. I mean, we live in a world where one of the major problems that people have is not knowing how to treat one another.
Ooh, Islam. Ain't that the truth? Oh, that's a big problem in the community. Whether it's the conscious community, I don't care what community is. Yeah. You're so correct. So correct.
But right here in the master and the servant, we learn how to treat one another.
Right.
You see, we learn that there is honor and respect in being a servant. As a matter of fact, I fear ever stepping outside of servitude, because okay, if I'm no longer useful to you, then what?
Then what? Islam.
Then what? So come on, give me some of what you got tonight.
So when you say that, I'm gonna say that a master has a role and a servant has a role. Each one of us have a role, right?
That's right.
So when you're saying learning to treat one another, it's so true to this chapter, because as a, like I was telling you, me as a servant to my teacher, a servant, if you go to, I'm gonna go to instruction 3. It says, be patient, therefore, under the reproofs of thy master, and he rebuketh thee, answer not again. The silence of thy resignation shall not be forgotten. So when I read that, I look at it as, when your teacher's instructing you, you don't need to be, because you may not agree, because now you're going to cause confusion. If you're a chairman or assistant grand sheik, your grand sheik, the respect should be, he's teaching me, let me be a servant. You know what I'm saying? Especially if he's following the prophet, because some will try to do, and they're not even following the prophet. They just want you to follow them for likes and views, and it's not about really the work of the prophet. So we have to be careful when we're being a servant to some of these people, because sometimes we're being a servant to the wrong people, the wrong teachers.
Islam, and the prophet just also taught you right there in that instruction that you read how to recognize when you are giving yourself to the wrong people, because if I can take your reproof, if I can allow you those moments where you might not say it to me in the best way, but I know that you're right. I also know that you should know better, and you should know how to mix kindness with reproof. So now the next time, if I don't see you now respecting me more for being studious to your interests, I know you're not the right leader. Because the prophet just taught me how to recognize it, you see. And this is why these lessons are so very important. They protect us, they guard us against the evil ones and the deceitful ones, and those who might not be evil or deceitful, but they just not ready yet.
They are not ready. Islam. Thank you for that degree. Thank you. Islam. I'm looking. See, and it's like you were saying earlier, you can pick this thing up, read through it 1,000 times. I'm like, no. You should see my circle 7. Look at me. This is how much I use it. It's just going.
That's how they supposed to look. When they start putting out the little pretty books, I mean, y'all ain't using them books, man. Hey, I got about 3-4 circle 7s, all of them in tatters.
All my pages be falling out. I be like,
hey, Hornbuckle Bear in the other room laughing because his circle 7s, the pages be falling all on the floor and stuff. But hey, we work them demonstrations though. Real talk. Yeah.
So in it,
Islam, partner body. The sister said, she said, forgive my ignorance. Where are you reading from?
My apologies. The divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 28, Holy Instructions from the Prophet, Master and Servant, instruction 3.
Islam. Sister, you got that?
My apologies, Sister Veronica.
Okay, she trying to follow along. Islam. Okay, come on, let's go. Let's go. We digging in.
All right, so. Oh man! All right. Ooh, right. So when a teacher is teaching us through, I'm gonna say this, through the master and servant, right? We're being taught how to continue this movement. That's what we're supposed to be being taught, correct?
That's right.
And so that's where I was having a lot of issues, just like who's really doing the work. Like, so this really is putting me back into my servitude. Like, the work. Where's the work being done as the servant? Because I look at it as saying, instead of you saying, what can my nation do for me? It's like, how can I serve my nation as a servant? That's how I'm looking at this. So this is teaching us how to be a servant to our nation.
That's right.
A people. If we're talking about it's teaching you how to treat one another, then we need to learn how to be that way toward one another in all ways.
That's right.
Islam?
Okay, so Islam, absolutely. So we are a nation of people, and it's difficult for a lot of people to accept that fact. They say, well,
how the Moorish Science Temple of America a nation, you know, with all of the things that the Moorish Science Temple of America has going on. Well, we didn't say that we were a very powerful nation. We are a nation that needs work, and we need work.
We're not a perfect nation.
We're not perfect either. Okay, so we have some the Prophet Noble Joe Ali said, I need finances and I need finances back. So therefore we need to be working towards building industries and, you know, streams of income and economic vehicles, right? With that being the case, this particular chapter, Master and the Servant, is going to teach us how to make everyone want to do business with us. You see, because we're gonna treat them right. We're going to respect that. We're going to respect every exchange. We're not going to say, oh, well, you know what, when we get on top and now we got Fortune 500 companies all over the country and all these different temples and all these different states. Now we are better than everybody else. We don't want to feed the community no more and all those other things. You know, this right here, it keeps us grounded. And like you said, it will teach us how to save our nation. We have to learn as leaders and as servants to the people. We have to learn how to be tactful, and tact is learned right here in this chapter. All right, and we have to learn how to be motivational and to be able to organize energy. All right, and the best way to do it, what we learn is what the teacher do. The teacher treads the way.
Right, it's long.
The teacher treads the way. So we gonna get out there and serve. Ain't that what the prophet Jesus did? The prophet Jesus led the way. You understand me?
And left his footprints clearly cut.
Clearly cut.
You know he went that way.
Wow. Absolutely. And the Prophet Noble Joe Ali came on the scene doing the exact same thing. All right. The Prophet Noble Joe Ali traveled. He traveled all over the country to all the temples, wherever it was Moorish Americans at. And then he didn't just restrict to dealing with the Moorish Americans because he knew his work. He was a universal prophet.
Wow.
You know, so he went wherever it was necessary, you know, that the words of life needed to be heard. That's a servant.
That's a
servant. He didn't pick up some. The Moors would have gladly built a throne room for the moment, set the prophet on a high chair. But the prophet wasn't that type of guy. He was a real live servant. You know, he said, "What? Imitate I your prophet,
and worthy of his hire."
Say that part.
Worthy of his hire, right?
Hey, you gotta deliver. You hear me? You got to deliver on what you talking about.
Yes, for sure.
Give it to me.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to 9 from the same chapter. He shall serve thee faithfully from the motive of gratitude. He shall obey thee cheerfully from the principle of love, and fail thou not in return to give his diligence and fidelity their proper reward.
That's right.
So we need to serve each other faithfully too.
That's right.
Even when, you know, we might see a brother or sister. That's why we have chapter 25. If my brother is in trouble, assist him, right? My sister's in trouble, go to her aid.
That's right.
Right?
Absolutely.
So with that being said, we have to learn how to serve each other in a faithful way and from the principle of love, because we don't even know how to serve each other from a loving way. When I can see it sometimes, maybe someone might bring you some food, offer you something to eat, right? And everybody else's plates is full, right? But they bring you your plate, you got little portions out of it. Here you go. Like, is that how you would treat someone? If someone come to my house and eat, everybody eating the same way. Everybody plate look the same. Everybody plate, they gonna be the same. So you can, you know, it's those things right there that really are like, wow, where you can see, like, even in some temples where you're learning, they're just portioning out. Let me give you a little crumb, and I can't give you no more than that. Like, but why? This is supposed to be tied. You're supposed to be taking this to the four corners of the earth. So what are you holding back knowledge for? What is that? So you can't even be a good master or a servant. Either one, if you can't even do that. We're supposed to be teaching each other. Iron sharpens iron, period.
That's right.
Islam,
Islam. You know, Pleasant Bay said years ago, and I don't remember if it was something I read but maybe I heard him. But some Pleasant Bay said this years ago. He gave this analogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, if someone tries to withhold the truth from someone, and the truth is all and all is a lie, then what is that person trying to deny the next individual? They trying to deny them God.
Islam.
Okay. Now, right there, it says that the servant will serve thee by the motive of from the motive of gratitude. Okay. Now we ask ourselves, well, what are they grateful for? What are they grateful for? Are they grateful for whatever dollar amount you pay them per hour? Or are they grateful because you treating them like you appreciate their work?
That's right.
When we build a company in the Moorish Science Temple of America, you know, the Moorish Science Temple of America owns a corporation called the Moorish Science Temple of America. Remember, the Moorish Science Temple of America adopted as its corporate name the Moorish Science Temple of America. So we own a corporation, and through this corporation, we deal in commerce, and we deal the way nations deal with one another with other nations, right? Well, those individuals who work for our nation, if we were to only have them do the work for the money, because I ain't been getting paid a lot. The temple ain't been cutting no big checks for Penitent Bay, all right? So if I was only to do this for the money, how much work would I actually do? But see, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and all of the sheiks and adepts who were with the Prophet, who raised up sheiks and adepts, who then raised me up. I'm grateful for that.
Islam, me too.
You see? So now when you go out as a Moorish American and you establish for yourself a business, a corporation, and you offering a service or a good, right? You want individuals to appreciate you and to have that same motivation for the services that they provide for you in your company. The last thing you want is somebody working for you only for the money. Because guess what they're going to do when you're not looking? They're not going to be doing a lot of work.
No. But what are you doing when no one is looking? What are you doing when no one is looking?
What am I doing when no one is looking?
No, I'm just saying. That has to be the question when you asking about the other person. Like, what are they doing when no one's looking?
Islam. And you know something? It could be like me. I'm gonna answer your question. What am I doing when no one is looking? It depends on what time of the day it is, what day it is, and how I'm feeling. All right. Now, with that being the case, when I'm at work, I made a vow because of this chapter and because of the lessons I learned from this chapter and because of the benefits that I received from this chapter that I will never cheat an employer. All right. Now, I'm not built to be working for nobody. I'm just not. You understand me?
I'm a horrible employee.
No, I'm a great employee for this reason. If I come to you and I say, Sister LaTay J Bey, I want you to hire me. And you give me a job. You didn't come to my house and give me and ask me to come to work for you. I asked you for a job, and me showing you appreciation and from the motive of gratitude, I'm going to do my job to the best of my ability.
Islam.
Okay, that's because I'm grateful though. But there are some people who don't know that they have something to be grateful for. Look at chapter number 12.
Chapter 12.
Look at chapter number 12.
All right, let's go. And let me say this. I ain't gonna say I'm not a good employee. I just know I'm not meant to work for people. I've worked for myself since I was 19. So that's why I say that. And it's I'm gonna say it like this. I worked at a salon suite back home in Colorado with this European man owned the salon suite. He had 32 suites in that building, and in the building on the other side of town, he probably had another 25 suites. He said, LaTay, as a child, I just knew I could not be nobody's employee. He said, that's why I own 2 suites. And I make $300 off of each door because I feel I can make more money off of doors than one building.
That's right.
His parents owned a pizzeria. He owned 6 Subways in Colorado and 2 buildings. And when he said that, he said, so I'm a horrible employee because I know I'm only able to work for myself. I can only really build for myself. So that's the way I'm really saying it. I'm not going to say I wouldn't be a good employee for someone. But, you know, my mind state be horrible.
Hey, trust me. I'm one of those people that while I'm at work, I can't wait to go home. As soon as I get there, golly, what the heck am I doing here? You know?
Right, I should have stayed there. Right. Wow. So you said chapter 12, right?
Chapter
What
12.
instruction are you? What instruction am I going to? Or do I just need to go through chapter 12? That's what you're telling me.
Start right at the beginning.
Islam. All right. The divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 12. Jesus teaches the common people at a spring, tells them how to obtain eternal happiness.
That's right.
Islam. In silent meditation, Jesus sat beside a flowing spring. It was a holy day, and many people of the servant caste were near the place. And Jesus saw the hard drawn lines of toil on every brow and every hand. There was no look of joy in any face. Not one of all the group could think of anything but toil.
I'm
sorry. You want me to continue?
Yes.
And Jesus spoke to one and said, "Why are you all so sad? Have you no happiness in life?" No. The man replied, "We scarcely know the meaning of that word. We toil to live and hope for nothing else but toil. And bless the day when we can cease our toil and lay down and rest in the city of the dead." And Jesus' heart was stirred with pity and with love for these poor toilers. And he said, "Toil should not make a person sad. Men should be happiest when they toil. When hope and love are back of toil, then all of life is filled with joy and peace. And this is heaven. Do you not know that such a place is for you?" Islam.
Now you see that?
So I'm thinking that's where you're coming from, right there, right?
Absolutely.
Islam.
But you see, they was working, but they had nothing to be grateful for.
Grateful for, yes, Islam.
You know, they had and our ancestors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Master student. I'm a nerd. I'm a super nerd. All right.
Islam.
So our ancestors, when you look at the Santeria belief systems, the
Islam. Hey, Mexican is me.
Okay. So let's build from the platform of the Santeria and the Ifa Yoruba. All right. So when you look at Oshun, the Orisha Oshun is symbolic and represents our imagination. All right. Oshun like to get loose. Oshun loves to get loose, while at the same time, something that's very underappreciated about Oshun is her creativity. And the reason why she's so happy is because she freely creates her own happiness. All right. See, whenever we are working towards our own aims and our own objectives, we can contribute more of ourselves to it. We have all of the attributes of God within us. But when we are not working from the platform of gratitude or from a platform of knowing that we are working for ourselves and for the benefit of our own posterity, our own people, our own nation, you know, when we know that we are contributing to something great, we can dig a little deeper. You understand what I'm saying? And remember what the Quran said, teaching benevolence and his mind shall be exalted. You know, this is where that creative imagination comes into play, because we need to be able to produce enough food to feed this nation. All right. And guess what? This is a hell of a thing. This is a mighty work we doing. This is difficult. We go to sleep at night thinking about it. We wake up in the morning thinking about it, and we love doing it.
Islam, definitely.
You know,
definitely.
This is where our ancestors' ingenuity comes to mind when we look at the Orisha of Oshun, or if we looking at the Shatunata and the Metunata, and we look at Heharu. It's the same energy. That imagination that hey, I created it, so I love it. You know what I mean? It wasn't forced on me.
Islam, definitely. So I am a master cosmetologist, 30-year license. So when I say I am a servant, because my chair is my ministry. You feel what I'm saying? So as a servant, that makes me happy. I love making people feel happy. I love making a woman feel good. She gets up out the chair and just like, or she goes home and her husband's like, Dang, baby, you look nice. Like when I get that from the husbands, I know I've done my job, but that's my excitement because I am a creative person. You
That's
probably
right.
can tell. I'm a very creative person. So that's where I do my most service at. And I feel like that's where I used to be Regina Bell's hairstylist, the singer Regina Bell. So I've done a lot of
Okay.
entertainers, but she would always say, LaTay, this is your ministry.
Mhm.
She was like, your chair is your ministry, like literally. She was like, because I come here for you to solve my problems. And I'm looking at her like, what? How I'm
Yeah.
solving somebody? You a Grammy Award, you look at people like that. But she's like, nah, like for real, you need to really think about this as your ministry because
Oh,
you can change lives. And when I think of my chair, that's what I think of it as. I've been out of the chair for a minute because my body ain't allowed me to stand for too long. But I've been doing it 30 years. I've been standing 30 years. I've owned 3 salons. Like, yeah, my body's kind of like, yes, sis. It's time for you to sit to the back and let's find us a protege. You feel what I'm saying? So I love that part that I'm able to. So when I heard you say that, I had to go back and say, well, you know what? No, I am a servant, and I'm very worthy of my hire because I
right.
love my clients. Like
That's
they
right.
bring me joy. So it's long.
That's your platform. I'm gonna give you. Are you familiar with my brother Shay Ray Hill?
No.
Okay. Okay. Well, the more that's one of my brothers, and we were inside together, but he's a barber, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we had this thing. I would go to the barber shop every single day. I got a lot, so I ain't gonna get no haircut. So, but I would go to the barber shop every single day and just we just build on more science, for the whole time. And like everybody who would sit in the chair, it was like that was the school. We literally had more people coming to the barbershop to learn more science than how many people was actually coming to Sunday school. You know what I
Wow.
mean? And
Where the
that's the
prophet start? Where did
platform.
the prophet start at? Did he
I
start the
was
barbershop?
just about to say that. I was just about to say that. Hey, the truth. Didn't he say I'm gonna repeat myself? Ain't that what the
Yes.
prophet said? The prophet said, I'm going to repeat myself. So this is the beauty of it, like understanding our platforms. Like for me, like the first time I ever seen the internet in my entire life was in 2018.
Really?
I've
Wow.
never seen the internet, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. But I didn't not Facebook and stuff because I didn't. When people used to talk about MySpace and all those other things, I really didn't. I couldn't conceptualize it because I had never seen it before.
All
What
right.
I wanted to get my hands on was Google. I'm like, you mean to tell me I could just search and find an answer like this? I don't have to comb through all of these encyclopedias. Like I would spend hours in the library just reading encyclopedias and combing through books and ordering books. And you're telling me I could just Google, and then they started talking about YouTube and how all these sources was on YouTube, and I couldn't wait to get to that. But when I first seen Facebook and I seen all these eels and bays, I was amazed. I'm like, oh my God, it's like a gazillion Moors out there. I'm sitting in jail with a cell phone in my cell, like ducking up under the cover, talking and texting the Moors. And then I'm in Sunday schools and I'm meeting Moorish Americans. And a lot of Moors would say, hey, we don't teach more science on Facebook. And I'm like, why the freak not? I'm like, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali stood on milk crates and gangways. You understand what I'm saying? He stood out on corners. The Sheikh Cook Bey said the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, his first assignment, he sent him out to slay demons. We don't demonstrate spookism to slay demons, man. He went on the street because they used to have them European Roman preachers out there in our communities teaching nonsense to our people. And Cook Bey went out there to confront that nonsense with the truth. So I'm like, why would we not use this? The Prophet Noble Drew Ali would see this as the world's biggest milk crate.
What? Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, let me get a whole. I can reach 1 billion people. Is you serious?
Yes.
You know what I mean? I got a temple and I got the Moors here in the temple, but we also on the Zoom call and we got Moors wherever they are on the Zoom call. And like this is more science. Like the event, the next chapter, chapter 29, says this about the magistrate. It says that with the learned and ingenious, he delighted himself. Why with the learned and ingenious? Because they create avenues for the message to get delivered. They create avenues for the food and the science to be imported. Right? So we're going to use whatever technology come our way. You know, so this is what we learn inside of these Qurans. Because I didn't think like this when I first picked up the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science of America. Did you?
No. Not at all. I was like, ain't nothing wrong with me. What you mean? I used to date a Moorish brother when I first. Ain't nothing wrong with me. He'd be like, you need to learn to love instead of hate. I do that. Boy, when I got them lessons, I was like, oh dang, I guess you don't know how to love. I'm learning now. Like, oh, I do need to learn how to love instead of hate, because boy, can I keep some anger inside of me. Boy, I had to be honest with myself, you know. But to me, I feel it's all coming from understanding, being the treasures of Allah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well,
that's right.
So, you know, I do want to speak on that too, on what that even means, because we're in this month of October. And we're in a 8, you know. The month of October is really 8. And it's really about understanding.
Okay.
And so when you look at the number 8, the balance, the number 8 represents balance between the material and spiritual world too.
Okay.
And we need to understand what that's even all about. We got to get into this understanding too, because we can do these lessons, but do we understand them? And are we really applying them to our lives? Is my question.
Islam. So let's take a look at some of the places in our Holy Quran where the concept of understanding is brought to light. All right. So first, chapter 7, you know, what is understanding? Understanding is the rock on which man builds himself. It is the gnosis of the alt and of the no, of falsehood and of truth. It is the knowledge of the lower self, the senses of the powers of man himself. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So when we talk about gnosis is defined as intuitive spiritual understanding. So when we talk about intuition, this is not something that you've been told or taught or it's been communicated to you or that you even experience. This comes from on the inside. And the Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches us that the nearest place to meet Allah is in the heart. So our understanding, the source of it is Allah. Now that takes us to what? The chapter of unity, where it says that the gifts of the understanding are the treasures of Allah. And he appointed to everyone his portion in what measure seemeth good unto himself. All right. So now the gifts of the understanding, those things that come from the utilization of the portion you got. So we all have a portion. All right. It's only one understanding because we are all trying to understand the same thing. So it's only one thing to be understood, and we all have our portion of that understanding. That portion is increased by our utilization of it. So that intuitive, that still small voice that communicates our portion to us, we like to ignore that voice a lot. You know, like especially when we out there running the street.
Exactly. Well, you know, that's tapping into your soul, and most people don't think they don't have a soul, because if they can't see it, smell it, taste it, hear it, touch it, it is not real to them. And that's what the world has given our people. It's not real to them. They can't see it, touch it, smell it. They don't know that it's really there. They might say it's there. I got a soul, but they're not in tune with it. You just said that. Like the closest place we can meet Allah is in the heart. But which heart? We ain't talking about this one. We talking about the one closer than your jugular vein. Because at the same time, your soul wasn't your brain and your soul. Where is it at? Where the brain and the soul at the same time were? Something was popping off with it. Islam. So it's like, oh man. Yes.
You know what you said. So now this is something else that we learn in the Moorish Science Temple of America. Okay, so our people like to acknowledge those things that they physically interact with. Okay. So in the Moorish Science Temple of America, this is what we are taught. Listen to what it says. It says that the perfumes, the odors, the true sensations, and the all of love are manifest on the plane of soul. Okay. So this is prior to it even getting to this plane. When we start talking about perfumes, you know, these scents that are constituted of thousands and sometimes millions of molecules, but they manifest first on the soul plane. So while we're trying to physically interact with a thing, we are denying ourselves the best type of interaction. That's soul interaction. You know,
can I read
that? Read it.
On chapter 1, can I read that?
Absolutely.
Islam. Now, seeds are perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. Well, let me say this, because they might ask the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 1, the creation and fall of man. I call it chapter I. Chapter I.
That's right.
Now, seeds are perfect. Yeah, it's perfect as the source from which they come, but they are not unfolded into life made manifest. The child is as perfect as the mother is. So man, the seed, must be deeply planted in a soil that he might grow. Unfold as does the bud unfold to show the flower. The human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah was full ordained to be the Lord of the plane of soul and of the plane of things made manifest. So Allah, the husbandman of everything that is, threw forth this human seed into the soiled soul. It grew apace, and a man became a living soul, and he became the Lord of all the kingdom of the soul. Hark now, let every creature hear. The plane of the soul is but the ether of the spirit plane, vibrating not so fast. And in the slower rhythm of this plane, the essence of life are manifest. The perfumes and the odors, the true sensations, and the all of love manifest. Islam.
Wow.
So that goes back to what you just said, which you actually just demonstrated to me. That's why I see it.
Can I show you something?
Yes.
Okay. Read the next page. Just start at the beginning.
Next page or next paragraph?
The next on the next page. Just start at the beginning of the next page. Page 5.
Education of Mary and Elizabeth?
No, not the next chapter.
Oh, that's why you said next page. Oh, this is on the same page. So next paragraph. This is the next paragraph.
Okay, Islam.
Islam. And these so attributes became a body beautiful. A multitude of lessons man must learn upon the plane of soul. And here he tarries many ages until his lessons are all learned. Upon the boundary of the plane of soul, the ether began to vibrate slower, still, and then the essence took on a final garb. The perfumes and odors, and the true sensations, and the all of love were clothed in flesh, and man was clothed in flesh.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
What is love?
What is love? It's an energy. Yeah, it's the energy, it's a vibration.
Islam.
It's action,
what the Prophet Noble Ali said is.
Love is the savior of the world.
The Prophet Noble Ali, it is. He said the only savior of the world. The Prophet Noble Ali said that Allah is love.
Yeah, Allah is love. Jesus is love. The Prophet
okay,
is
so
love.
Look right there, and what it say? It say that the all of love was clothed in what?
All the love was clothed. Let's see. Hold on, let me get my glasses because I'm trying to read without glasses on. All the love. Hold on. That's your perfect man. Oh, all of the love were clothed in flesh, and man was clothed in flesh.
So all of God, all of God clothed in flesh, huh?
Islam.
Islam.
That's us. Islam. Islam.
Hey,
yes.
We dope.
Islam.
We super dope. But this teaches us a lot. That tells us a lot. That tells us a lot about ourselves, and it tells us a lot about each other. It should make us feel it should give us a high amount of esteem for self. All right.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And that, you know what, just all of this whole conversation and this build with you has just really gave reason why me and Sister Vashira started the Uniting of Asia. We started that group for a major reason, so that we can make sure that we can touch each other from no matter where we are. My whole thing has always been, if something was to happen, if you had to get up and go, if you had to go to the next state, do you know somebody? I'm the type of person, I know everybody. I usually don't go nowhere where I don't know nobody.
Islam.
And, because that's just me. That's just my personality. Relationships are important to me. So I like to build with good people.
Islam.
But that's why we started that group, because that was my main thing. We need to be able to reach sisters from all over. And the United of Asia is full of sisters from all different ways of life. They're not even just Moorish sisters.
Islam.
So we wanted to reach and be that love that reaches out to others and really show that love degree. So that's why the Uniting of Asia even was created by us, so that we can push that for the sisters.
Islam. And I want to say honest again to the sisters for taking that step. A few months ago, I was talking to some more. It was a call. I forgot, somebody put me in the call, like one of the messenger groups, and there was a lot of Moabs in there, and we come together to build. At least I believe that was the intention of whoever created the group. And then something that's happens too often, it turned to where you from. The gang gives some demonstration inside of the Moorish Science Temple of America, where the Moors want to say, well, who you with and where you from? That's what we used to ask guys when I was in the ID home back at the crib when I was a little kid. They come in, man, what neighborhood you from?
What set you from? Well, where I'm from, they say what set you from, because I'm from the West Coast. What set you from?
Same ism, right? And you know what I told them? The sisters don't do that.
No.
The sisters don't give a freak about what grand body you with. Only thing they know, that's the Moabites right there. And then that's the Moab. They know, who you with, who is your national grand or supreme grand, whatever the freak. Don't nobody care about that.
We don't.
At the end of the day, the Prophet Noble Ali said what? He said, live guys the destiny of this divine movement.
Come on now.
So when one start to forget that and stray away from that, then now that's when we can say, you know what? They're not Moorish American. But when most people lie out front and follow the Prophet Noble Ali, we all marching and counter marching to the same tune, following the same leader. We might not be, in the same platoon,
Yes.
But we all vanguard and we all moving against the same common enemy.
Common enemy. What is the soul's? What is its only search? What is the soul's only search? What is it?
What is it? It's the soul.
Truth. The soul's only search is truth. It don't want nothing else, because the soul is perfect even in the bosom of a fool.
Right.
So the soul's only search is truth. So sisters, what does it tell you? Yeah.
So that's why I want to do this. That's where the motivation to say, hey, you know what? A greater appreciation for womanhood. You're gonna see me. I do a lot of podcasts, and for real, it's going to come a time where the Moors are going to see my face every day. You're gonna see me all the time because I'm trying to communicate these truths and extend the learning of the great prophet of Ali in America. That's all. That's what it's about. It ain't about Pennington Bay. It's about the Moorish Science Temple of America, which is the thing that I love more than anything else. All right. Now, with that being the case, I'll get on here and you'll see all the time me building with brothers, Ricardo Bay, Shay right here. Of course, I got my governors with me all the time. I love her to death. She's one of my fellow master students, and we just geeks when it comes to Moorish science. Like we get it is what it is. We geeks. It is. I mean, call it what it is, right? But I want to hear the sisters, because what more science has carried you through and have allowed for you all to bear and still unfold is amazing to me because I understand it, because I played a role in putting you through it. You know, when you sit inside of prison for 20 years, okay, 20 years, 3 months, and 24 days in prison, watching women, you know, have to do all of the work that you supposed to be doing, you start to pay attention, okay? So for me, there is an appreciation there, you know, and to come home, I really just want to do what I can to try to. I mean, I can't get those years back. When I was inside, I did everything I can. I made a vow. Every young Moab, young Asiatic, for one, I was trying to make them know that they were a Moabite, the child of God. Right? And I was trying my best to help make them better me. And I had all types of motivations for doing it. I was saying to myself, one of these young brothers might go out and meet my daughter. I want to send a man home to my daughter.
That's right.
You know, one of these might go out and meet my son and be able to say, hey, your father is not that guy they tell you about. He's no longer that person, you know. And then I just wanted, you know, I seen myself in him so much. It hurt my heart every time a bus pulled up and I seen, you know, a young person getting off that bus. I feel in the way I felt when I got off of that bus for the first time. I wanted to eradicate those thoughts. And plus, that was my therapy, because I would have went crazy if I didn't start shaking. All right.
Simple as that. You had to, so you didn't let the time do you. You didn't let the time do you. You did the time.
Time never was when man was not.
Man was not, but I'm saying you didn't let it like
no, what I'm saying
take you under.
The Prophet Noble Ali told us that. So immediately we had to not let the time do us.
Time gets Islam. All right.
You know, because the Prophet Noble Ali told time never was when man was not.
Yeah.
So when we say that,
before you went in there, did you know that, or you didn't know that till you got in there? So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You didn't know that before you got in there.
Let me tell you what I knew before I went in there.
Okay. Right.
Hey, as a matter of fact, look, and I ain't even being funny, right? I got this bottle right here. This I gotta mail this to the Sheikah's Janasia. It came in the package that I had ordered from but I gotta get this to her. But I'm gonna make sure she get this. I gotta get her address that she want me to send it to. But you see this little bottle right here? I could have fit everything I knew in this bottle and had space left. You hear me?
Stop it.
I mean, everything that I knew that was valuable. It could have fit in this little bottle right here, and it would have been room left. As a matter of fact, the sister would have been happy with the quantity of whatever's on the inside of here that she got with the little bit that I knew, because they wasn't taking up a lot of space.
Wow, Islam.
All right,
Islam.
And and what comes with learning is knowing how much there is to know.
Islam.
You understand me? Let's just take what we do know and use it to the best of our capacity.
Islam.
Because the advantage lies not in the possessing of good things, but in the knowing to use them.
To use them,
right?
That's right.
So all of the Moorish Americans and Moorish scientists out there who have a holy Quran that has been divinely prepared by the Prophet Noble Ali, by the guidance of his Father God Allah, know to use it.
Use it, Islam.
Use it in whatever you are trying to accomplish. Trust me, it has the remedy right
yes, it does. Yes, it does. It'll set your house in order. Man, it'll set it in order all the way.
Absolutely.
We'll set it in order.
All right. So so the Night of Power. You know what? Do you familiar with your the Great Quran of Muhammad?
Nope.
Okay. So there's a surah in the Quran, surah 97. The Night of Majesty, or the Night of Power, depending on which translation you read. Okay, so in there it says this. It says that the Night of Power or the Night of Majesty is better than 1,000 months. All right. So when it just says 1,000 months, it just means it's better than a very long time. All right.
All right.
So, but in this one night, when you experience this one night, then you will be able to achieve in that one night what would normally have taken you 1,000 months. Okay, so this is the type of focus that you can achieve in this night of power. This is the type of imaginative capacity, creative energy you could produce in this one night. All right. So, and it's brought about through contemplation and fasting. All right. So when we demonstrate as Moorish scientists that Friday is our day of rest. Okay. So what we put to rest on that day, because we know, see, God don't need no sleep. All right. So it's not about the resting of the spirit or the resting of the soul. It is the resting of those things that we just can't let loose of the rest of the time. All right. We're going to put those things to rest, and we're going to focus all of our energy and our capacity on the things that deserve our attention. All right. And then the night of power can happen for you. It can happen for I. You know, and in it, we see throughout the course of scripture that revelations come. The Prophet Muhammad received Quran during the night of power. You know, chapter 15 of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Prophet Jesus, after his night of power, began his ministry.
Islam. I grew up 7-day Adventist, so that's why I'm not really into that Quran, because I grew up 7-day Adventist. So when we say holy day, I get it, because in my household growing up, everything was quiet on Friday. There was no cooking, no cleaning, no secular music. You couldn't go to the movies. You couldn't do none of the stuff that everybody did. I couldn't wake up Saturday and watch no cartoons because the TV.
Oh my God.
But I grew up in a real 7-day Adventist household. No earrings, no makeup, no beads in your hair. The dress down to your ankles, you had to be completely covered. Now they wear jewelry and everything. They didn't even wear wedding rings when I was growing up. You had to have a watch on because it was a timepiece and not no jewelry. So when I say I came into Moorish Science, it grabs me, because when it said Friday is our holy day, it took me right back to how I grew up. It took me back to where my roots come from. And that comes from my great-grandfather being the chief of the Choctaw Nation territory. They were literally, that's what they did. So that's why I gravitated so much toward Islamism. And I don't know much about the other Quran because I come from a different background.
Islam. The Prophet Noble Ali teaches us that we have it as the revealed word of Allah.
Islam.
So just as I would advise you to start to learn it. You know, even if you just take a little time, go to YouTube and just you can listen to it. You know, my brother Hornbuckle Bey, he listens to the Quran tirelessly. You know, I'm personally, I don't like to hear the Arabic because I don't speak Arabic. So and I'm one of those people that I focus when I'm studying. So like if it's saying the English and then it switches to the Arabic, it kind of throws me off. But that's me, you know. For some, you know. Now, with that being the case, you know, I don't know how you did it. No cartoons Saturday.
No cartoons. Are you kidding me? No pork. I didn't know what pork tastes like till I became an adult. I didn't know what a lot of stuff tastes. It wasn't none that popping up in my house.
That's good. You know, I haven't ate pork. And the crazy thing was I stopped eating pork because of gang affiliation.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't, you know, I was married to someone for 20 years from the South, so that's the only reason why. But I don't even eat meat anymore. So
good.
Been 10 years since I've even really. I'll eat some salmon every night, but I can't even eat that no more. It's like, no, I'm not eating that.
Well, Islam sister, it was an honor to build with you.
It was an honor to build with you too.
We're gonna have to do this again.
Yeah.
You know, just come in, just build on the possibilities of man, deal in the possibilities of man. That's what the old Moors used to say. We're gonna deal in the possibilities of man,
because that's what he came to show us.
Absolutely. So oh yeah, I forgot I was supposed to say it to everybody who watching to subscribe, like, share, do that stuff. you know, do that stuff. And the night of power is over. It's Friday night, y'all. You know, I'm gonna give y'all a degree too.
All right.
January 8th, 1886 was Friday.
Islam.
That's right. I absolutely agree. You know, something that the Quran says, the Quran talks about heaven and hell, you know, not being places, but being actually states of mind. So what we learn in the Moorish Science Temple of America is those particular lessons and exercises that allows for us to master our minds. So in mastering our minds, we know that we actually create, you know, our living conditions or our living mind space. You know, my brother Shay Rail used to always talking about, you know, having the chaotic mind space versus the peaceful mind space, and the ability to create this space for yourself. And as Moorish Americans, somebody who knows themselves, they know that this ability, that this capacity actually exists within them.